We bring to you the 2014 Legislative Wrap-Up from the MIIAB News Recording Studio, presented by Dominic Spacetto, MIIAB's Governmental Affairs Director.
It was a very interesting year for our association. There's several issues of concern that we had to address at the Capitol. First and foremost, I think, was the problem we faced with access to bulk driving records. As you know, the Department of Public Safety proposed the elimination of bulk data and bulk access to these records, which would have dramatically affected those in the insurance industry, those dealing in the automobile industry, newspapers, other groups from accessing that information. So we quickly started meeting with the Department of Public Safety and found early on that they were not amenable to a solution in the form that we liked, so we took it to the state legislature. And I'm pleased to report that the legislature ultimately did pass legislation that will allow bulk data access to occur, although the fees and subscription charges will be slightly higher than previously, so I would expect the cost of this information to increase slightly. The other interesting thing that I learned in this debate is that when we refer to MBRs, we are actually wrong. MBRs are considered motor vehicle registration forms. What we actually seek are driving records, which are part of the driver's license database, which is separate from the motor vehicle registration database. So in referring to what we actually seek, it is driving records, and we'll have to use that going forth. Another issue we dealt with related to continuing education, and we're happy to report that we were able to change the continuing education law to allow for simulcast programs over the internet, to allow you to be in a remote location to see an actual classroom CE program and receive credit for it. And the most important part is that we make that considered classroom, even though you're not actually in the classroom, but in a different location. And by doing so, you do not have to complete a test at the end of the program. So we'll be able to simulcast these programs. If you are doing it over the internet in a remote location, there will be a requirement that you're identified and some attempt to record actual seat time to assure that you are sitting there in front of the computer just as you would in the classroom. The last thing I want to mention is that there was enacted a NoFault Reform bill. It's not a major bill. I know that the Insurance Federation of Minnesota and the carriers have been working on no-fault issues and fraud issues for a very long time. Unfortunately, we were not able to pass some of the major anti-fraud measures that they had sought. However, we did pass a couple of things of interest. First of all, agents and insurance support organizations providing information to law enforcement and the Department of Commerce anti-fraud unit will be immune from liability, so you are free to report suspected fraud. We also made a change in the reimbursement requirements for drugs that are compounded or sold from out of state to gain control over medication costs. Probably the greatest interest for insurance agent is that the increase in the statutory benefits under NoFault. The new law will increase the maximum disability and loss benefit income from $250 to $500 per week. It will increase the funeral and burial expenses, which are now $2,000 to $5,000. And we also increased the weekly benefit payable to survivors of a family member who died in an insured accident from $200 to $500. So those are increases that are important and should not be fairly costly to policyholders. The last thing I should mention is that there were several issues that were debated that were not enacted that we were very interested in. One relates to a proposal to create secure retirement accounts where the state would get into the business of providing private retirement accounts for individuals who don't have retirement accounts either through work or IRAs on their own. We were quick to point out that that's not necessary, that there are a vast number of opportunities for individuals to provide money, small amounts of money, to a retirement account without the state getting involved in administration and the regulations that are involved in that. However, it was supported by AARP and the SEIU unions, and they were able to convince their colleagues, Democrats mostly, to study this issue. So they're going to spend $400,000 hopefully to find out exactly what we told them to begin with, that these programs are not necessary. There was also an attempt to repeal the long-term care tax credit, and that was unsuccessful. That's an issue that's been around for a few years and we may have to address again. And finally, we did nothing to deal with the Affordable Care Act and MNsure, our state health insurance exchange. It's a very political hot potato, and the leadership at the legislature and the governor's office categorically denied any kind of debate on this, so there was no discussion, no amendments, no legislative solutions to some of the problems that we face with the exchange. So that will carry over probably and become a big issue in the 2014 election. We have provided a link to our Capitol Views, which is our website, which provide a more in-depth report on some of these issues. Please check that out if you're so inclined.
Minnesota Independent Insurance Agents and Brokers Association, your source for governmental issues important to independent agents.